During our anniversary dinner, my wife smiled sweetly as she excused herself to the bathroom. Her phone lit up. A message from Gym Trainer read, "Still milking, that idiot, can't wait to have you all to myself next week." I just smiled, finished my wine, paid the bill, and started the countdown. I threw every last piece of her Cherisk tea onto the front lawn. Week later, she came home to an empty house, frozen accounts, and a custody notice on the table. Her gym trainer, he's lying in a hospital bed with broken leg. Now she calls me every night, voice cracking, sobbing, screaming, "Please, I'm begging you, don't leave me. Don't take our child. I can't breathe without you." Okay, so I never really thought I'd end up writing one of these, but honestly, I'm still too wired to sleep, and my group chat just keeps sending the skull emoji over and over. So yeah, here we are. First off, just so nobody thinks I'm some idiot who missed the signs, I knew something was weird for a while. Like, you know how sometimes a person starts acting like you're an annoying background noise? That's what it felt like with Marian for at least a couple months before this all blew up. She'd get this look like I was just there to hand her the remote or find her earbuds when she lost them again. She loses everything, I swear. So we've been together since that stupid foam party at the rec center, which is embarrassing as hell, but whatever, I'll own it. I was the guy making fun of the playlist. She was the girl who actually started changing the music from her phone and then got yelled at by the staff. So yeah, not exactly a rom-com beginning, but I like that she was a little bit of a menace. Fast forward to last week. It's our anniversary, and I'm trying to do things right. Even though things felt off for a while, she's been at the gym all the time, posting her little look at me stories, suddenly obsessed with protein shakes and acting like it's my fault. We don't have a blender that costs as much as a used car. I try to ignore it. I do. I'm not the jealous type, or I wasn't. Dinner is at this new Italian place she picked because she likes the lighting for photos, not because of the food. Let's be real, she's got on this blue dress I haven't seen before, new perfume, nails done, the whole thing. She's nice to me in front of the staff, which honestly should have been my first clue, because at home, she's been snapping at me for leaving shoes in the hallway like I'm a dog. The weird part is halfway through dinner, she's barely touched her food, keeps glancing at her phone, but every time I look, she flips it upside down. I'm not stupid. I almost ask her about it, but I'm still trying to believe maybe it's nothing. Then she gets up, says she needs bathroom, leaves her phone by accident. I swear I didn't even mean to look at it, but when it buzzed, I glanced because it was right there, screen up, and that's when I see it. Gym trainer pops up, yeah, with the heart, and it says, "Still milking, that idiot, can't wait to have you all to myself next week." I don't think I even blinked for like 30 seconds. I just stared at her phone, and my first thought was, wow, I'm actually that guy, the one people laugh at, the idiot husband and the jokes. I almost laughed. I really did. She comes back, sits down, starts talking about dessert. I look at her, and all I can think about is that message and how she's sitting there smiling like nothing's happening. I just nod, say sure, order whatever, and finish my wine. I must have looked like a zombie. It's weird because I wasn't even sad right then, just this cold, pissed-off feeling, like I was suddenly awake for the first time in months. Like, how long was she planning this? Was I just a wallet? I know she's always been a little obsessed with money. Not going to lie, she grew up with nothing, always said she'd never live like her mom did. Always wanted more, better, newer. I thought I could keep up, but I guess not. Not when there's some idiot with a six-pack in a lease card telling her she's too good for her boring husband. I didn't say anything. I didn't explode, didn't even mention the phone. Just sat there, finished my drink, paid the bill. She made a joke about how I was finally letting her pick the restaurant, and I just smiled. I think that freaked her out a little because she went quiet and started scrolling her phone again on the drive home. She played with the radio and kept texting. I asked her if she was okay, and she snapped at me, said I was acting weird. I almost laughed. I just said, yeah, maybe I am. When we got home, I said I had a headache and went to bed early. She stayed up, probably texting him. Who knows, I barely slept. I kept thinking about everything Every weird gym selfie, every friend dinner she had to go to, every time she called me boring or made a joke about real men with muscles, it was all adding up, and I felt like an idiot for not seeing it sooner. But I wasn't going to just let her walk all over me. I started making a list in my head. What's in my name? What's in hers? What she's got access to. I started thinking about the accounts, the bills, the passwords. I wasn't going to flip out and trash the house. Not my style. That's for the movies. I was going to make her feel it. I kept it cool the next day, made breakfast for our kid, did the school drop-off, acted normal. She barely looked at me, just put on her fake gym smile, and left. I checked her phone bill online. Yeah, I pay for it. She probably forgot, saw the same number over and over. I wondered if she'd even try to hide it. If I asked, my friends always said she was a little too much, but nobody ever wants to be the one to say, "Your wife sucks, dude." My mom always tried to like her, but I could tell she didn't trust her. I called my brother on the way to pick up groceries, told him kind of what was going on. Not everything, just that I thought Marion was messing around. He didn't even sound surprised. Just said, "If you need a placebo crash, you know where I am." That's when I decided I wasn't going to be the guy who gets walked on. I started planning. I started making a list, not of what I'd say, but what I'd do. She wanted to play games with me. Fine, I can play too. Next part gets uglier, but I'm not sorry. If you've ever wondered what happens when you treat someone like a backup plan, keep reading update 1. So picking up from where I left off, after that dinner, I saw the message from her gym trainer with a heart. Yeah, I still can't get over. Then I basically spent the next day in a daze, but honestly, it was more like my brain was running through scenarios non-stop. I kept thinking, I'll just call her out, make a scene. But then what? She'd just cry, spin it on me, say I'm paranoid, whatever. I knew how she played these games. Marion's always been like that. She hates being called out, always finds a way to make herself the victim. I've seen her do it to other people, but I guess I thought she'd never turn it on me. I started noticing little things, even more, like she'd leave for her early morning class boot, always come back with coffee from the place cross town, not the one near our gym. She kept her phone face down, even in our own house. And she was always on edge, like she was expecting me to say something, but I didn't. I did exactly what she expected least. Nothing, just normal. But while she was out, I started getting my underscore together. I didn't want some dramatic showdown. I wanted her to feel it where it hurts. First thing I checked all our accounts. It's honestly wild how much you can forget about who has access to what when you've been a juror as long as we have. She's got her own account because she likes to treat herself, but everything that matters is still in my name. Mortgage, insurance, car payments, the utilities. You trust someone. You don't think about this stuff until you do. So I started locking it all down. I changed every password, moved my direct deposit to a new account. No, I didn't freeze her out of money completely. I'm not that much of a psycho, but I made sure she couldn't touch anything that mattered. I left her enough to get through a couple weeks because I am not trying to have her screaming at me in front of our kid about groceries. I started gathering stuff, not like snooping through her things, just collecting what was obviously hers. Her expensive shoes, the stack of leggings she bought for motivation, the perfume she'd never worn around me. All these dumb gym resistance bands, her little wellness gadgets she kept buying off Instagram ads. I put it all in the spare room. I kept thinking about that message, about the way she'd been talking to me lately. She always wanted more money, more stuff, more attention. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I swear nothing was ever enough for her. She'd say things like, "Why can't we take a real vacation?" Or "How come you never surprise me anymore?" But if I tried, she'd act like I was trying too hard. I started to realize this wasn't about the trainer. Not really. She just wanted to feel like she was winning, like she could have everything she wanted, and still keep me on the hook for all the boring stuff. I talked to my mom about it. She's not subtle. She just goes, "Why don't you just kick her out?" I told her, it's not that easy. There's our kid, there's all this stuff tied together. My mom said, "You don't have to let her walk all over you, Leo. You know that, right?" I said, I know, I just needed a plan. I started looking up what I could do about custody, what my rights were. I'm not some legal expert, but I'm not stupid either. I found out I could file for temporary custody, especially if she's never around and I'm the one doing everything for our kid on most days. Anyway, I called my brother, told him to be ready in case I needed him to pick up her kid from school or something. Marion was still acting like nothing was wrong. She'd post her stories like usual, tag her trainer in dumb memes, pretend like everything at home was just peachy. She'd even bring me coffee sometimes, like she was trying to keep me guessing. I started taking pictures of stuff not for evidence or anything, just to keep track. I didn't want her saying I stole her stuff or trashed anything. I packed it all up, neat as you please, and lined it up by the door while she was out. The first fight happened on a Thursday night. She came home late, like almost midnight, smelling like some cologne. Don't own, I asked her where she'd been, and she rolled her eyes, said don't start with that jealous husband crap. Leo, I said, you're going to have to start treating this house with some respect, or find somewhere else to crash. She snapped, said if I made her leave, she'd take our kid and I'd never see them again. I told her good luck with that, let's see a judge decide. And she slapped me like right across the face, then stomped off to the bedroom and slammed the door. I didn't follow her. Next day, she acted like nothing happened. She even tried to get me to go out for dinner, but I said I had plans. She just shrugged. Said whatever her trainer was doing a group thing anyway. I could feel her starting to get suspicious. She'd poke around, ask what I was doing on my phone, try to look over my shoulder. Kept my phone on me at all times. I got the custody paperwork started. It's not a quick thing, but it felt good just to have the ball rolling. I moved all the important papers, the kid's passport, the birth certs, stuff like that, to my brother's place. My dad called me out of nowhere, said he'd heard from my mom. Something was going down. He's old school, doesn't really get involved, but he told me, don't let her make you the bad guy. Said just make sure you protect yourself and the kid, that's what matters. So I kept playing it cool. I'd make breakfast, do dishes, take care of our kid, all the normal stuff. Marion started getting meaner. She'd make these comments about how pathetic I looked or how I was letting myself go. Whatever, I just smiled and told her she was free to leave any time. She tried a couple times to pick a fight in front of our kid, but I'd just take the kid to the park or go for a walk. I wasn't about to let her drag our kid into it. Then on Friday, she tried to log into the main account and couldn't get in. She lost it, started yelling at me in the kitchen, calling me controlling and a bunch of other crap. I told her, you're not going to use me for money and run around with your trainer, not happening. She pushed me hard, then started crying, then screaming, then slammed the fridge and stormed out. I didn't chase her. I finished packing up her stuff, set it out in the garage. I messaged my brother, told him to be ready for anything, and set up a call with a lawyer to make sure everything I was doing was by the book. That weekend, I barely saw her. She'd come in, grab stuff, then leave again. She stopped talking to me unless it was to bark orders about bills or the kid. By the end of the week, I had everything ready. Her stuff packed, accounts, locked, custody paperwork, started my family on standby. The kid taken care of. I was done being the backup plan. Next part is when it all blows up. I'm not proud of how ugly it got, but I'm not sorry either. She thought I'd just roll over and let her walk all over me. Nah, not this time. Update 2. So yeah, if you've made it this far, probably want to know what it looked like when it all finally went down. You expected screaming matches and flying dishes. You're not totally off, but honestly, it was messier and way more real-life awkward than any of those trashy reality shows. First weird thing, she didn't even come home at first. After I packed her stuff and locked everything down, she started doing this thing where she'd come and go at random times, mostly when she thought I'd be out or distracted with the kid. I'd find her grabbing stuff from the garage, not saying a word, just avoiding eye contact, acting like, I was some kind of landlord. She owed money too. She kept her phone glued to her face, probably texting her trainer, probably complaining to her friends about what a monster I was the only time we actually talked was when she tried to ask about money. She said, "You can't just lock me out, Leo," I said. "I'm not your ATM." She slammed the door. Then she stomped up the stairs and started throwing clothes into bags, making a huge show of it. Our kid was in the living room, so I just told him to put his headphones on and play his game. My brother came by a couple times, mostly just to support, sometimes to bring pizza, sometimes to help distract the kid. He's not a fan of Marion. Never has been, but even he was like, "Dude, she's really trying to make you snap so she can say you've lost it." He wasn't wrong. She started ramping up the drama. I got a couple of texts from her friends, all basically saying, "Oh, you're really just going to kick her out like I'm the villain here?" I sent back, "Ask her about the gym guy," didn't hear back from any of them after that. Then came the big one. She came home one night later than usual, and I was sitting on the couch. She walked in, dumped her bag on the floor, and went straight to the kitchen, yanking open cabinets. She yelled, "Where's my stuff?" I said, "It's in the garage. I already told you." She started calling a control freak, said I was trying to ruin her life. I told her, "You did that all by yourself." Then she started shoving me hard, trying to get a reaction. I just stood there and told her to get out. She slapped me again. This time right in front of the kid. I told her, "Do that again." "And I'm calling someone." She stormed out, slammed the front door so hard it rattled the windows. My neighbor texted me 2 minutes later, asking if everything was okay, and I just said, "Yeah, breakups suck." The next day, she sent me a huge wall of text about how I was ruining her reputation and she'd never forgive me. I didn't reply. Then the trainer tried to get involved, not in person at first, but through texts. I blocked his number, but not before he sent this long rant about how I was being toxic and manipulative, like, "Dude, you're the one sleeping with a married woman and calling me an idiot. Get a grip." A couple days later, I heard he tried to show up at her parents' place where she was staying after I made it clear she couldn't stay here. Apparently, he managed to slip on their icy steps and mess up his leg pretty bad. Her mom called me asking if I'd heard about it, and I just said maybe karma's real after all. Marion started getting desperate. She tried to get into the accounts again. No luck. She texted my mom of all people saying how I'd changed, and she didn't know who I was anymore. My mom replied, "Maybe you should have thought about that before you started cheating." She tried to take the kid out one afternoon without telling me. I told her, "That's not happening. You need to go through the right channels now." She screamed at me in the driveway, neighbors watching, and I just told her to leave. She threw a bag at me, got in her car, and peeled out. My dad called me later, asked if I was okay, told me to just keep my head down and do everything by the book. He said, "Don't let her drag you into her drama, Leo." I said, "Easier said than done, but I'll try." The next few days were just constant texts and calls. First it was insults, then it was begging, then it was threatening to get lawyers involved. I said, "Go for it, I'll see you in court." The trainer didn't show up again, which is probably for the best considering his leg. Marion tried to get her friends to take her side, but at this point, most of them had stopped answering. She showed up one night, banging on the door, screaming at me to let her in, but I just locked it and turned off the porch light. She stood outside for a while, then drove off. The only person who really seemed to get it was my brother. He just kept saying, "You're doing what you need to do. Don't let her guilt you." My mom brought food over for the kid, just normal stuff, nothing fancy. She didn't even mention Mary, and just talked about the weather and her book club. Meanwhile, I was still going through with the custody stuff, talking to the lawyer. I had to explain everything, show texts, lay out the timeline. It sucked, but I wasn't about to let her take our kid away after all this. The strangest part was how fast everything changed. One week, I'm the guy getting left on read. The next, I'm the bad guy in her group chat. The next, I'm the only one left standing. Last night, she called again, crying so hard I could barely understand her. She said, "Please, I'm begging you, don't take our kid. Don't leave me. I can't breathe without you." I just put the phone down and walked away. I don't know how it ends yet, but I know I'm not backing down. Next part's probably the ugliest, but I'm not stopping now. If you treat someone like a backup plan, don't be surprised when they stop playing along. Final update. So I figured, when I finally blocked Marian's number for good, that'd be the end of it, but of course, nothing with her is ever just over. It's always more texts, more drama, more random numbers blowing up my phone at 2 a.m. Like I'm suddenly going to change my mind if she just cries loud enough. I started noticing weird stuff right away too. Like she'd leave her stuff in a plastic bag on the porch, then text me to bring it out because she couldn't carry everything. Weirdly polite considering she just spent all week calling me every name under the sun. I left it on the porch and locked the door. She banged on the window, yelling how I was ruining her life and turning everyone against her. I didn't even bother answering. It's wild how fast things shifted. 1 week, she's the queen off. Her stories posting her gym selfies, tagging her little gym crew. Next week, the only person who's still talking to her is her mom. Even her best friend sent me this awkward message. Like, I hope you're okay. I don't know what's going on with her anymore. My mom started coming over more, mostly to check on the kid and make sure I was eating actual food. She tried to keep it normal, not asking about Marian, just talking about her book club, the weird neighbor with the inflatable flamingos, stuff like that. My dad stopped at me once, just long enough to drop off a toolbox and mumble something about keeping the garage door locked. Marian tried a couple times to show up when our kid was home. She'd act all sweet, asking if we wanted to go for ice cream, but I just told her, you need to schedule this through the right channels now. She started shouting right there. In the driveway, neighbor across the street was mowing his lawn and just stared. She threw her keys at the fence and sped off. Honestly, even the trainer stopped trying to get involved after he messed up his leg. I heard from her mom he was stuck at home, couldn't drive, not even showing up at the gym. Marian started blaming me for that, like I somehow caused it. I just shrugged and kept going. It's weird because after all the years of her acting like everything was my fault, me not making enough, not going on in vocations, not being fun enough, now she's the one stuck at her parents' place. No money, no car, no gym, nothing. She tried to guilt trip me, said I was destroying our family, said she was going to tell everyone what a monster I was. I told her, go ahead. I kept all the accounts locked. I kept every interaction about the kid. Nothing else. She tried to send long emails, paragraphs about how she never meant for this to happen, how she was lost, how she needed me to save her. I just forwarded them to my lawyer. She tried to get her friends to reach out, but most of them just gave up after hearing my side. Nobody wants to get in the middle. Honestly, my brother just kept saying, don't let her back in, don't even open the door. Our kids started asking questions. Why can't mom come over? Why is she always sad now? I tried to keep it simple, just said, sometimes grown-ups have to figure things out. It's not your fault. There was one night she showed up at like almost midnight. Pounding on the door, she was crying, yelling, saying she couldn't breathe, begging me to let her in. I just turned off the porch light and went back inside. She sat outside for a while, then drove away. I've had to get used to doing everything myself. Again, making dinner, packing lunches, laundry, all the normal stuff. It's not easy, but it's better than walking on eggshells all day. My mom jokes that I finally learned how to fold a fitted sheet. Not true. I just crumple it up and shove it in the seed closet. The weirdest part is how people have changed around me. My neighbors are suddenly friendlier, like they're relieved things are quieter. My brother comes by more, brings donuts, sits on the porch with me. My dad even texted me a meme, which is basically him saying he's proud. Marian still tries sometimes. I get emails, blocked numbers, even a letter left in my mailbox, all the same message. Please don't take our kid, don't leave me, I can't breathe without you. I don't answer anymore, I don't need to. I'm not angry all the time now, just tired, but I know I did the right thing. If you're reading this and thinking about letting someone treat you like a backup plan, don't owe anyone your peace, your money, your sanity. Real life isn't some movie where everyone hugs it out in the end. Sometimes you just shut the door, turn off the light, and move on. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not, but it's mine now, and I'm not giving it.